Thank you for joining us on Up Close and Personal with Gdavis Productions. I am your host, Nakesha Writes, and today we have the CEO and founder of Gdavis Productions, Mr. Garett Davis.
Hey, thanks.
Yes, thank you so much for joining us.
Glad to be on your show. Yeah. Proud supporter of messy hair and
sweatpants. Yes. Okay. So we got some questions for you. Are you ready for these questions?
Let's go.
Okay. So everyone knows that Gdavis Productions is known for its plays. Mm-hmm. So what was the overall factor that made you decide to base your plays around health issues?
Mistake. It wasn't, I didn't start off wanting to do shows on health, and I was trying to do shows on relationships. Mm-hmm. If Loving You Is Wrong was one of my first pieces, Private Chambers. But I couldn't make any money with that, believe it or not. And I wrote a play when my grandmother passed on Alzheimer's called Forget Me Not. Mm-hmm. And I was trying to figure out, I didn't have any stars in it. I was just going to do it one time. We did it at the Stained Glass Playhouse. And, for like 2 weeks later, people are still coming. And so I partnered with a good friend, Bernadette Stannis. You guys know her as Thelma from Good Times. Her mother was going through Alzheimer's at the time. And so we started touring the country, raising the awareness of Alzheimer's through the play Forget Me Not. And that's when I saw how using plays could be very effective in teaching and educating a group of people about diseases, especially diseases that affect our community, because I think we learn differently. So it didn't happen by, it wasn't a plan. I kind of fell into it by mistake a little bit, but, I'm glad I did.
Oh, so with everything that's going on now in 2020, this whole pandemic, right, it's crazy, but how has it affected you and Gdavis Productions?
Good and bad. We haven't, toured since November of 2019, and we're used to touring multiple productions on a national level. Before the pandemic, we were touring Daddy's Boys, Forget Me Not, Sisters at Heart. We just wrote a new play, Clearly Invisible. So we had 4 plays touring at the same time. Wow. And so when this pandemic hit, at first, honestly, it was a nice little vacation.
Yeah.
But 2 months into it, it's like, okay, I got to find something to do. But the pandemic has kind of forced or pushed us into television, into social media, into putting our plays on that platform in terms of episodes. So the pandemic, although it affected us being able to get out to the communities, on a national level, now what we're trying to do is to adjust to where we are in the world today. And so now we're trying to reach those people that normally follow us virtually. And so it'll allow us to reach more people. May not be as fun because you don't get the hands that feel, get to touch, but that's how it has affected us.
Okay, so you kind of answered my next question a little bit, but so the productions that you had planned, what are you actually turning those into?
So, one of my most successful plays is Mama's Girls. And Mama's Girls toured for 7 consecutive years. AARP was the first national sponsor for that. Then the American Diabetes Association came on with Mama's Girls 2. We call it Sugar Ain't Sweet, diabetes. And so 2020 was supposed to be the year that we came back as what we would call a farewell tour. But be that as it may, in negotiations and talking with AARP New Orleans, what we decided to do because of this pandemic is to talk about and educate and make awareness of people who are caregiving for loved ones during the pandemic. So we're coming back out with Mama's Girls 2020, the year of the pandemic. Oh. So that's going to be hilarious. We're set to record that, go into the studio and record that. And in October, we'll start our Mama's Girls series. And hopefully by November, we'll get into the episodes that deal with taking care of a loved one with the pandemic. Now, we were scheduled to in 2019 to start working on and try to release in 2020 the Tonya Kane story. And it's called Through the Fire. But because of the pandemic, we haven't been able to, we've pushed that back to 2021. So that's another piece that we are continue to work on, and hopefully we'll release it in 2021. I'm very excited to be working with Tonya Kane. She's an absolute gem. I think you guys need to go to Tonya Kane International or TonyaKane.com and look her up. She's been through so much. She is not what she looks like she has been through with trauma, and so we're very excited about that. And with the whole George Floyd situation happened, I really began questioning. I had a lot of questions about what is it about being black in America that causes so much friction? I had a lot of questions with myself. I remember in bed early one morning and seeing the reporter from CNN get arrested, sitting there crying. It's like, why? And so, I went through a phase where, how can I use my talent, my gift, to affect or change or do something to contribute. Mm-hmm. And so I'm working on a piece called Just Us.
Okay.
It sounds like justice, but if you're black, sometimes it's just us. And
That's
so
true.
we're working on trying to get that piece finished for Black History Month, 2021. And so this whole pandemic has kind of forced me to start a new genre. And because I think things, the new normal is going to be different.
Yes.
And so, we've made a good creation of doing plays across the country, but I want to start mixing film and theater together. And so I want to call this theater film division. And so like with Neen's piece is so big, it's bigger than a play. And so I want to mix some of the scenes we want to shoot on location. And so when you come to the next time you come to see Neen or come see the other pieces we're going to do moving forward, it's going to be like going to the movies and to the theater at the same time.
Mm-hmm. So do you feel now that the pandemic has had a positive effect on Gdavis Productions since you're venturing out into new areas?
I don't know. I don't know how to answer if it's positive or not. What I'll say is that the pandemic has allowed me to go into an area that I never would have gone into. Mm-hmm. So I guess that would be positive. I mean, I've always wanted to get into film. I've always wanted to transition into that. But had not been for the pandemic, I would still be on the road doing 4 shows and wouldn't have the time to do it. Wouldn't have met you. Wouldn't have, made you the face of Gdavis Productions and the voice. And so I think on that standpoint, yes, it has been positive, and hopefully it's going to work out for us.
Okay. Hold on, let me find my next question. So you do have new projects coming up because you just mentioned a couple of them. So you got Just Us and the Tonier Kane.
So speaking of new, and so with Daddy's Boys, even though Daddy's Boys was getting ready to start its 3rd year of traveling, and so now, Tom Farrington, who is the founder of the Project Health Education Network, we are working together to create 4 new episodes of Daddy's Boys. Okay. And so we're excited about that because we filmed Daddy's Boys at Reed Temple Church in Maryland in 2019. And so when we start releasing the episodes, the first 4 will come from that session. The 4 new episodes we're going to shoot, on sound stages, and we're excited about the 4 new episodes of Daddy's Boys, the 4 new episodes of Mama's Girls, 4 new episodes of Clearly Invisible, and finally Sisters at Heart. The twins. I think you can probably have them as a guest on your show at some point, but Kimberly Ketter and Sean Rivers, the inspiration behind Sisters at Heart. So we're looking forward to releasing those new pieces. Okay,
that's exciting. You got a lot ahead of you.
I know. Yeah.
So why do you think that this is So why do you think that this is an important platform in raising the awareness of health issues?
I'm assuming the platform you're talking about how we do our plays. People learn differently. When it comes to, if my mother has Alzheimer's and I take care of her every day, I may see a magazine, I don't have time to read it. I may go to the doctor's office, but I'm doing so many other different things. I'm only paying attention to what he's saying to her. And so I don't see how that affects me. But if I go to a play and I see someone caring for someone with Alzheimer's, then it opens up my mind about that's me. And so the next time I see that magazine or the next time I'm in that doctor's office, I respond differently. So I think the platform that we use of bringing real life situations to the stage allow people to see themselves on stage and to see situations on stage. Now they can go back and have those conversations. A lot of people compare me to, what's so different between you and someone else? Well, with me, when you come see one of our shows, when you go back home, you have a serious conversation about life. It's like, how can I take care of Mama? Like Mama's Girls is about 5 sisters from 5 different cities trying to figure out who's going to take care of Mama. Daddy's Boys is about a relationship with father and son. He's trying to have a serious conversation about he has prostate cancer. Well, men don't like to go to the doctor. Men don't like to talk. How do you have that? Sisters at Heart is a true story about 2 twins that went through congestive heart failure. So I think allowing the platform and showing these episodes or showing them on stage allow people to kind of look at it and say, you know what, that's me. Maybe I need to look at things differently.
Yep. Oh, definitely. Okay. Definitely. So That was really all my questions that I have for
I
you.
got off easy.
Do you have anything else that you may just want to mention?
No, but just, you can follow us at gdavisproductions.net for all the up and coming events that we've got. August the 4th is going to be our first Living With series that we're starting with AARP Georgia. And Living With is a series about informational, if you're living with diabetes, prostate cancer, whatever illness it is, we're going to offer you information on how to live with that better and to have a better quality of life. So we're excited to be doing that. So just go to gdavisproductions.net to follow us, of course, or keep up with Nakesha Writes on.
Yes. Yes.
Right.
Thank you so much. And thank you everybody for joining us on Up Close and Personal with Garett Davis. Next time, I will be sitting down with the cast of Daddy's Boys, Up Close and Personal, and I am your host, Nakesha Writes.